Hello and welcome to this videocast for subscribers to davidicke.com. As you can see, the sun's very bright today. I'm keeping it at bay as best I can, but it's kind of appropriate that the sun is with us in such brightness and power today, because I'm going to talk about energy. And not the kind of energy that makes your car go or makes the fridge work, but energy that can change your life in a day or less. I'm back home now from the Wembley event last Saturday, and it was such a profound occasion. It's still it's still kind of with me, the energy of that day, and I know from people who've contacted me through various means and put things on social media, said things to people I know, that the audience at Wembley, a very large number of people anyway, went through some really profound transformations during the day. And I can completely understand it because of what I experienced. And it took my mind back to just a few months coming up 25 years ago, March 1990, when I walked into a psychic's house in southern England, a lady called Betty Shine, and was told I was going to go out on a world stage and reveal great secrets and all the things that actually have unfolded since. But in terms of today's subject, what I was told through her, and indeed through other psychics that I met in that period, when I was bumping into psychics all the time, when this kind of change in my life first started. And there was a common theme. There were a number of common themes, but in terms of today's subject, there was this one: that there was an energetic change coming, like a frequency change, like a vibrational change, that was going to awaken humanity from its slumber, from its coma, from its sleep. And people were going to awaken to their true nature, infinite awareness, having an experience. They were going to wake up to what was really happening in the world, as opposed to what they'd been programmed to believe was happening all their lives. And that this energetic change was going to be like an alarm clock, waking people up to see what they hadn't seen before on multiple levels of being, and in multiple ways. And I dubbed this energy the truth vibrations all those years ago. It's why my first book, after I went through my own kind of mind-blowing awakening, was called The Truth Vibrations. And I use that term because one of the other effects that I was told about then, that this energetic change would bring about, the truth vibration change, was that all that had been hidden would be brought to the surface. And that was not just, like I've just described, people awakening to reality and self and the world, but actually massive secrets that have been kept from us would be brought to the surface. It was almost like the energetic change were going to bring this hidden stuff to the surface. And there's nothing that those who wish to keep the secrets secret could do about it, because this energetic change is beyond anything that they can deal with. And of course, at that time, 1990, there was no evidence for that whatsoever. There was no evidence of any awakening. There was no evidence of any of what I've just said. But as I've gone on through the years, it's become more and more evident that this energetic transformation is real. It was said that the most open would be affected by this change first, and then eventually, even those that at that time were solid, closed to anything beyond the norm and the programmed perceptions of the system, they were going to start being affected as well, in terms of looking anew at self in the world. And that all came back to me massively at Wembley last Saturday, because the energy in that room and the impact that it had upon people, including myself, was just beyond words. It was extraordinary. And the whole kind of day was different for me, because I've been talking to audiences all over the world for more than 2 decades. And there kind of was always a pattern where about 10-15 minutes before I went on the stage to start, an energetic field would engulf me. It would be very, very different. You feel it coming in. It's like a big energetic cloak comes in, and you can feel it. You can feel it here, at the top of your head. You feel it in your heart. You can, and you start to vibrate to a different beat, and it's kind of like what sports people call the zone, when they go into that space where time seems to slow down and the noise seems to disappear, and they're in this kind of space which allows them to perform their best feats of whatever sport they're in. And I've, on 1 or 2 occasions when I played sport, I got in the zone, and I know what that feels like. And it's similar to what I'm describing, but it's nothing like as profound or deep as this energetic field that comes in about 10-15 minutes before I go on the stage and start talking. And what then has happened over the years is this field is kind of with me, and you're kind of moving with it as you're speaking through the day. And its process is to build its power, to get more and more powerful as the day goes on. So by the time I've got to the last 2 hours, which is about awakening, opening the heart, opening the mind to the greater self, and kind of a catch-all word, what people might call looking at the spiritual side of everything, then it's really moved up and got really seriously more powerful for that last period. But on Saturday at Wembley, for the first time, it wasn't like that at all. I was walking to the arena early in the morning, still dark, and it was like I was going to the shops. What I was going to do that day, I had no feeling that is what was going to happen. It was like, like I say, it was just like going for a walk, going down the shops. And that stayed like that right up to kind of walking on the stage. That energy that came in was, it didn't come in when it normally does. And I'm still kind of matter of fact, right up, Gareth's now playing the opening to Wembley, and I'm watching him on the screen perform brilliantly as always. And then I walk up the steps onto the stage, and I'm still kind of in matter of fact mode. I'm still in going down the shops mode, and it was very strange because it never happened before. And then within about a minute, I'm walking in this energetic field on the stage as I'm starting the day, and it was like nothing I experienced before in the same situation. And it was extremely powerful right from the start. No build up here. I mean, it did build up a bit towards the end, but in the last 2 hours is always because of the subjects you're talking about. But it was on such a powerful level all day. And I'd never experienced anything quite like it. And the effect on people in the audience confirmed that there was something different going on here. And the truth vibrations is not some myth or some crazy idea. Truth vibrations is happening. And anyone that was in that audience at Wembley, and backstage people too, will have an appreciation of what the truth vibrations are and what they do. It's a higher frequency of energy, and energy is the vehicle for information. And when you connect with that energetic field, with that frequency, it starts to sync with your energetic field and starts to change it in line with this truth vibrations phenomena. And as that sync takes place, then there's an information exchange going on between these truth vibrations and the person who's connecting with them. And through that energetic connection comes insight, understanding, awareness that wasn't there before. While I was on the stage talking voice to ear, which again is just a vibrational field, I'm talking. I'm like everyone, all of us, we're creating a vibrational frequency field. And the words that we use have different frequencies, and the way you use them, the way you deliver them, can be delivered with different frequencies. For instance, you can say the same words in an aggressive way and the same words in a loving way, and the frequency is completely different, even though they're the same words, because of the intent behind them and the way that they are delivered. So all that's going on, and there's the 1,500 images, video clips, and the words, and that is a communication that is tangible, because when I was speaking, you could hear it. But what we forget is that the most profound exchange of information is going on in the unseen, on an energetic level. And so when you get large numbers of people, thousands of people like at Wembley together, and they've got open hearts and open minds, they are intrigued, they are inquiring, they are seeking to be more aware, as we all are, who are in this kind of arena. That creates a fantastic energetic environment for this exchange to take place. And that's why so many people felt such a profound effect upon them of that Wembley event. And from a personal point of view, I just found it incredibly encouraging. You go through the years putting the information out, and you just wonder, is it going to be enough? Is it going to be enough? And the agenda that you've been predicting long before starts to come in more, and you're going, crikey, where's this going to end? But standing in that energy field at Wembley last weekend and seeing its effect on people and feeling the effect on me, myself, was a real boost for me, because what it said to me was, it's going to be all right. It's going to be all right. We're going to do this. We are going to bring this this matrix down. We are going to end this oppression, suppression, and we are going to break the program. Because those thousands of people at Wembley last weekend were breaking the program. They were breaking the program. They were seeing through the program. And the more the truth vibrations tease people open, the clearer the program becomes. Because the more you expand your awareness, the more symbolically and literally you are not of this world anymore in terms of your point of attention. You are on another frequency, and that point of attention is symbolically, like I say, and literally looking in to the world of the five senses. And like anything, you know, if you are in something and of something, then you don't have another point of reference for seeing what you're part of, what's going on around you. And when you are in this world and of this world in terms of your point of attention, your energetic frequency band, then you have no point of reference for what's happening except that which is in your perception. And if you're getting information about your perceived reality from within your perceived reality, well, round and round and round we go. But once you start to open to expand your point of attention and raise the frequency, expand the frequency band that you are in awareness of, and suddenly you can see things you couldn't see before. You can see through things you couldn't see through before. And you become open to information you would have dismissed by reflex action before. And when I now see the kind of people who are opening to this information, opening to this energetic transformation, and at Wembley, in the audience at Wembley, were people from all over the world: South America, Australia, Europe, Canada, the United States, Israel. They were from all over, and they were united. And that's kind of interesting, really, you know, when I think about it. All those different people from all those different countries, all those cultures, all those upbringings, all those backgrounds, and yet here they were together in one place in extraordinary energetic unity and perception unity. They were united by an open mind and an open heart. And it was, you know, when I look at it, such a magnificent expression of how, although we may look different, may have different colored skin and different sizes, different heights, different backgrounds, like I say, the world of the five senses, which appears to express so much so many differences. But when you get to that energetic point of perceiving beyond that level of reality through expanded awareness, everyone's the same. It was a day when you could stand there and you could see what people call oneness. All these different bodies, all these different people from all these different parts of the world, and yet they were one unified field of consciousness with different points of attention, and they were at one with each other. It was just a picture of how we got into this mess, which is focusing on and perceiving only what we see, touch and taste, etc. And then that level of consciousness at which everything is one. And it's that transformation that happened last Saturday, kind of to all of us really, is precisely what needs to happen to change this world from a prison to a paradise. Because whether it's a prison or whether it's a paradise is just an expression of the state of awareness, the state of consciousness, thus the perceptions and behavior of the people that create the reality, i.e. collective humanity. And when you stood in that energetic field at Wembley and you saw the people in unity, in harmony, open-minded, open-hearted, there was no one there that was going to go to war with anyone else. There was no one there that was going to see someone else in trouble and not try to help. There was no one there in that expanded awareness that was going to seek to exploit another human being for whatever reasons. And all these things that are commonplace within the five sense world, even to be applauded. Oh, he's a great businessman. He's ruthless. Yeah, really? Are we praising that? And it was just fantastic to see what is possible. Because, you hear this stuff, oh, it's human nature, mate, you'll never change it. Well, what is human nature? The nature of humans up to this point in our known human history is a nature that has been programmed in its perceptions, thus it's the way it sees everything, has been denied knowledge of even the nature of itself and the nature of the reality that it's experiencing, has been suppressed from cradle to grave. That's the nature of humans, being encouraged to compete and conflict with each other. That's the nature of humans. But it's not anything more than a program of an agenda to control by getting people into that mode, into that state of perception and that state of behavior, divide and rule and all that. So the nature of humans is not what we call human nature. What we call human nature is just the program. You can have another human nature, which is what we saw at Wembley last week in the audience. With this incredible energy, this incredible love in its true and most profound sense, pouring from people, pouring from the audience collectively. I mean, people who were there who'd never experienced anything like that before and are really not into this esoteric spiritual stuff at all. And they were like, whoa, what is this? The love in this arena is extraordinary. Yeah, that's what we're capable of. That's what the world could be like. It's only a choice. And so for those who are opening and allowing in the truth vibrations, life is being transformed. Perceptions are being transformed from what they've always been to what they're now becoming. And what you also see is as people open their minds, open their hearts, and expand awareness, even some of the most, well, from a 5 sense perspective, from a 5 sense mainstream media, mainstream science perspective, extraordinary concepts that I was talking about, parts of the Wembley event, about Saturn and the moon and all this stuff. But people become much more open to these apparently far out concepts and sets of information because they are far out in terms of their ability to conceive of possibilities beyond the myopia of possibility that most people live in. Because I've said before, one of the greatest means and vehicles for human control is to squeeze their sense of the possible. And if you pull people into a perception, a port of attention that is basically coming and filtering information only through the 5 senses, lower mind 5 senses, then of course your sense of the possible has to be squeezed, because from a 5 sense perspective, all you could see is limitation. Because the perception of everything solid and all that stuff, it's not, of course, but the perception is. And if you live your life on the basis of everything solid and how we're supposed to perceive reality, then of course all you see is limitation. Well, you can't do that, you can't do that, you can't do that. Well, actually you can, once you realize what reality really is, as against what it seems to be as we decode it and experience it. And when you squeeze people's sense of the possible, what happens is when you come along and you're talking outside of their sense of the possible, another program about what's going on and how it's all being done and what have you, they're like, again, reflex action, you're joking, you're mad, that's ridiculous, that's not possible. No, you don't think it's possible because of that. And so as people expand their awareness, go far out, the far out starts to be perceived as actually far in, if you like, actually logical and not far out. It's just what your sense of the possible is. And this is, again, fantastically encouraging, because we're not going to kind of sort this out unless we realize what we're facing and how the game is being played against us and through what means, because then there's the answer of how to change it once you know how it's being done. And so that whole day was so enlightening on so many levels, to see the way this energy, the truth vibrations, are starting to affect people. And I was told back in 1990 that the power of the truth vibrations weren't going to come in full whack and and keep on at that point, because they had to sync with the human energetic field, if you like. They had to um, have some kind of compatibility. Otherwise, it's like being fried. And so, what has been happening is that this energetic change is been getting more and more powerful. It's not come in at full whack, like I say, and just gone on at that level. It's doing that in terms of its power, in terms of its, therefore, impact. And standing there on Saturday in that energy field, feeling the power of it in a way I've not felt before. And like everything's like a comparison, isn't it? It's what you're used to. So I've been talking around the world for years, and I've been in some powerful energy fields at these events. They're all powerful because of the nature of the information that you're dealing with, the nature of the people in the audience you're dealing with. They're bound to be powerful because of what that level of kind of, if you like, awareness and open-mindedness, open-heartedness is going to generate. But Saturday, like nothing I've ever felt before. And so when you think that we're nowhere near the full power of this energetic transformation, it's not, we haven't hit a peak here. It's where it is now. It's going to go on, going on, go on, go on, getting more and more powerful, exactly as I was told all those years ago. And so I came away from Wembley just so, if you like, joyous in the knowledge that we are going to turn this around. It's not hopeless. It may seem like that sometimes. It's not hopeless, the situation that humanity faces. It would be hopeless if we were just going on as we were, but we're not. And of course, the vast majority of people are still not touched by this change in a way that you can see in changes in their lives and perceptions. But like I say, it ain't finished yet. It ain't even nearly finished yet. And when I see the kind of people now who are looking at the world in you, looking at themselves in you, looking at the world events in you, people who not that long ago were absolutely in the system and of the system. They got their opinions, their views, everything from the system. And now, whoa, it ain't like that, is it? It ain't like I thought it was, no. When you see those kind of people waking up, it just takes me back again to March 1990. First, the most open will be touched, and then people who were at that time asleep would be affected. It's happening. And so, when you look for solutions to what's going on, because people are kind of obsessed and addicted to the five senses, and you can understand that. Why? Because you tend to look for five sense solutions, like start an organization, as I said at Wembley, get someone to take the minutes and all that. But the five sense actions are simply expressions, the ones that we need to do to bring an end to this, are just five sense responses to changes in consciousness, changes in awareness. What we do in what we call the physical world to bring about the end of this matrix, this control system, this control grid, will come from changes in awareness, expanded awareness. That will the actions will naturally come from that, because a different level of awareness brings a different way of responding, and the expanded awareness itself is the solution, because everybody that awakens, opens their heart, starts to vibrate on a higher frequency, and thus collectively we start generating that higher frequency, and we start to change the nature of the energy sea that we're living in. As the energy sea changes its frequency, so it's starting to impact on people living in that sea who are not yet of that frequency. It can start to break up the closed-minded concrete, energetic concrete, and people start getting affected. People start to feel a change in themselves. So that's the level where this thing is going to be sorted out, because this world is like a movie screen, and we're watching the movie, and the nature of the movie comes from the nature of the pictures and the stories that are running through the projector, or whatever technology they use these days. And so we are the projectors. We are collectively the projectors. So when we change, the movie must change. The world must change. It has to. And I talked at Wembley a lot about the heart and opening the heart. Not the physical heart, obviously, but the spiritual heart, if you like, the energetic heart, the heart vortex, the health of which fundamentally impacts upon the health of the physical heart, by the way. And when you open the heart, that's the way to the highest frequencies. This theme through history of the heart, and the heart associated with love and all that stuff, that is because energetically that is the point of highest frequency. You know, the Institute of Heart Math in America has done so much research on the nature of the heart, the nature of the energetic heart. The heart has the most powerful electromagnetic field in the body. It has more nerves going from the heart to the brain than coming the other way. And the research by the Institute of Heart Math found that when there is what they call coherence, in other words, harmonious connection between the heart, the brain, and the central nervous system, people go into a higher level of awareness. And so anything that affects the heart, that closes the heart, that causes the heart to ache and malfunction spiritually, energetically, in other words, will break that trio of coherence and hold people in a lower level of awareness. The heart is the key. And I was saying at Wembley that if we could just meet situations from the heart instead of from the gut or the brain, then the decisions we make and the way we act in those situations will dramatically change. You can't come from the heart and watch someone in trouble that you could help and not help them. You can't. You can't come from the heart and manifest hatred. You can't. This is the natural order. Heart, love, that's the natural order. Things like hate are an inversion, a distortion of the natural order. So this is where you can connect with the truth vibrations. And you could feel it in the arena at Wembley. so many hearts were open. They were generating incredible collective love in that place. It's just extraordinary all day. And that is the revolution. This is the revolution that's going to change the world. Not a revolution of guns, a revolution of weapons. Not a revolution of anything violent, anything what people call negative. It's a revolution in perception coming from a transformatory revolution in the human energy field through the truth vibrations, and leading on to a transformation of perception and thus behavior, and thus collectively the world will change from the prison to the paradise. And we are looking, I am sure of it after all these years, we are looking at what I've entitled this videocast. We are looking at a turning of the tide. I can see it. You know, when just down the road from me, tide turns several times a day. And when it first starts to turn, there's nothing perceptible in it. You can't suddenly see the water and the waves going in another direction. And then the more it turns, then you do start to see, yeah, I can see the flow here. I can see the way the flow's going. The tide has turned. Well, from that, the situation with the ocean, the sea, you can see it with the energy ocean, the energy sea. And I can see it now. And Wembley was just such a massive confirmation reminder of that. We're now reaching the point. I talked at Wembley about us being at the end of the beginning and the start of a new stage of this awakening, a new surge. And you can now see the flow starting to move in the other way. And that was a day I'll never forget, for many reasons. To experience it, to see it, but also to know that day, we are going to turn this around. We are. And the footage from Wembley is now being, to take a lot of editing because it was shot as it was done, but it's being put together in blocks and will be on the website, davidicke.com, I hope within the next couple of weeks. And people who couldn't get there, obviously there's no better than actually being there in that energy field. God, I can't tell you, it was extraordinary. And I know I saw people who've been to my events. This was something else, and they felt it. And the people that couldn't get there, for obvious reasons, around the world, etc., they'll be able to see the presentation and the information and get a feel, because of course the energy still comes through things like, you know, recordings and what have you, because it's all just energy in the end. And just get some idea of what it was like, and of the information put together over 9 hours. And it's just, after all these years, so encouraging to me to see the means and to see it tangibly, the means through which this human oppressing, mind oppressing, heart suppressing madness, the means through which it's going to be wiped away. Not tomorrow, but this world is going to be a paradise again, because the prison's coming down. My goodness, I see that last Saturday. Well, that's it for this week. See you next week. Thanks for watching. Best of luck.